Who's actually going to get the most out of a pocket-size, high-end binocular like this, and who would be better off putting the money towards something else? If you're on the fence about spending a premium on a pair that promises superior clarity in a 825 package, you're not alone. There's a real risk of ending up with a fancy toy that never sees much use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the everyday scenarios where this Swarovski Optik 825 actually shines, the moments where its limitations bite, and whether the price tag makes sense for the average hobbyist. First, imagine you're a weekend hiker who likes to pause at a ridge and scan the valley for a distant waterfall or a passing eagle. You've got a light pack, a rain jacket, and a camera that's already heavy enough. The biggest worry in that setting is bulk. You don't want a pair that forces you to ditch a snack or a spare battery. The 825's 12-ounce weight and compact shape mean you can slip it into a chest pocket or a small side pouch without feeling like you've added a brick. That's the kind of everyday usability that turns a Niceto Have into a reach-for-it when a need-it tool. Now picture a rainy morning on a coastal trail. Most budget binoculars start fogging up or leaking at the first splash, and that can ruin the whole experience. This model's waterproof construction seal to handle harsh weather means you can keep the lenses clear even when the mist is thick. For anyone who hikes in variable climates, that durability is a practical advantage you'll notice the moment you step out of a shelter and still have a clear view of a distant lighthouse. On the flip side, the small 25mm objective lens limits how much light the optics can gather. In open daylight, the 88% light transmission gives you crisp images, but as the sun dips and shadows lengthen, the view can start to feel a little dimmer compared to larger objective binoculars. If your typical outings are at dusk, during early morning fog, or you plan to use the pair for low-light wildlife spotting, you might find yourself reaching for a larger model instead. One of the most tangible strengths is the field of view. 6.8 degrees translates to about 119 meters at a kilometer away. In practical terms, that wide window lets you track a moving herd of deer without constantly reaming, or follow a flock of birds as they arc across the sky. For casual birdwatchers who don't want to miss the quick flutter of a passerine, that breadth feels like a genuine time-saver. It also means you can locate a distant landmark faster when navigating, a subtle benefit for hikers using the binoculars as a low-tech compass aid. The diopter adjustment range of ±5, plus a customizable interpupillary distance, means you can fine-tune the focus for each eye without hunting for a perfect fit. In real life, that translates into less eye strain when you're scanning a landscape for a long stretch of time. I've seen fellow hikers who have a slight prescription difference between eyes struggle with binoculars that only offer a narrow diopter range. This pair accommodates that variance, so you won't have to keep turning the focus knob every few seconds. Where the trade-off becomes apparent is in the magnification versus stability balance. 8 times magnification on a 25mm tube is a sweet spot for handheld use, but it also amplifies any hand shake. The lightweight body is a blessing for packing, but it offers less inertia to steady the image. If you have a steady hand, or you're comfortable bracing the binoculars against a tree or a rock for a momentary peek, the image stays sharp. If you're prone to tremors or you intend to hold the view for extended periods, you'll notice a bit of wobble that could make you wish for a larger, heavier pair that naturally steadies itself. Another practical consideration is price. Swarovski's brand carries a premium that reflects the optical coating quality and the heritage of precision engineering. For a user who values the brand's reputation and wants a piece that will last a decade or more, the investment can feel justified. But for someone who merely wants a good enough pair for occasional park visits, spending that amount when a reputable mid-range brand offers a comparable 830 at a fraction of the cost could feel excessive. The decision really hinges on how much you weigh long-term durability against upfront spend. Let's break down the buyer personas. If you are an avid hiker, a day tripper who often encounters changing weather, or a birdwatcher who appreciates a wide field and precise diopter tweaks, this binocular checks the practical boxes. The waterproof seal, lightweight feel, and the brand's optical clarity make it a reliable companion on those spontaneous outings where you need to pull out a viewfinder without thinking twice. On the other hand, if your primary use is low-light wildlife photography, nighttime stargazing, or you need serious reach for distant game, the limited objective size will leave you wishing for more brightness. Likewise,